This is the Extra Point Podcast from Arizona's family.
I've been wanting to talk to our next guest here on the Extra Point television show and podcast for quite a while, since he won Play of the Night last week, winning the NCAA championship with a throw for the ages. If you had a one shot to win a championship, could you do it? Could you settle your heart rate down and make it happen? Let's talk to the champ, Turner Washington from Arizona State University. And champ, first of all, how's it feel to be the champ again?
It feels great, I started out winning and then to end my career going out on top, coming back from COVID where I went back and won 3 in 1 year to then one last year. And then this year kind of struggled to find it during indoor and the beginning of the season, but to be able to do it on the last throw of my last collegiate career was just an amazing feeling.
All right, so let's talk to the kids out there about the grace under pressure, like Ernest Hemingway used to write about. This is it. We were watching it here at the Extra Point, and we kind of went crazy, and it was our play of the night. But just to be able to, in that moment, to seize the opportunity, what was it like as you were standing there about to throw?
Oh, it was just tons of pressure going through my head. And the one thing I was thinking, I was like, you know what? Someone did this to me on Wednesday. Jordan Geis from the U of A, he got me on his last throw. And I was kind of like, it's up to me now. And there's nothing else that can be said when you're the last thrower. It's it's on you now. And as I'm going into that last throw, it's just kind of really what are the cues that I've been working on throughout the meet and then throughout practice. And I just felt super locked in on that meet, super focused during that competition. And then going into the circle, heard a little outside noise, but that happened on the 5th throw. On the 6th throw, I was prepared for the chatter coming from the stands, and I knew how to handle it. And I just kept thinking, what are my cues? What are my cues? And then I was like, fine, it's finally time to go. And then when it left my hand, I had a sneaky suspicion, okay, that throw felt like I finally put the whole meet together, because each throw, 1 through 5, there was just pieces missing. I was doing something good on one throw, then doing something poorly on the next. And that 6th throw was finally putting six complete throws together and competing at the highest level.
If you weren't competing, would you be one of those guys chattering in the stands? Were you actually appreciating what they were saying?
Yeah, no, I did not enjoy what they were saying. I just think it's at some level I get when it's just a fan, but when it's coming from other athletes, they too know how much work goes in, and it's kind of disrespectful. But I let my opinion on the matter be known, so there's nothing much more to say.
Well, it was one of the great post game interviews there, and I guess when you take us into the decision to rip off the shirt and announce to the world the champ is here.
Yeah, I was fired up. I heard it. I knew what direction it was coming from. Imagine it was Arkansas people, and I just wanted to show them I'm here. If you want keep talking that crap or you run away, which they did, So, yeah, that was my whole attitude. And I was just kind of thinking back with my childhood. I remember Robert Harding, all-time great discus thrower, but would rip his jersey off kind of when he'd have a great throw. And it's just kind of it was one of those moments that you grow up seeing on YouTube and trying one day I hope someday I'll be in that kind of moment. Get to feel what that feels like. And it's just there's no real words. It's just kind of the whole every throw, every practice throw coming out of retirement, it just kind of everything led to that moment. And as I look back on my collegiate career, I wouldn't change a thing about it, because it all led to me being in that position.
So were you done? Is this the old boxer, the old fighter here? Kind of take me through that whole situation of because you grew up. Your dad was in the Summer Olympics, right? So
my dad was in 3 Olympics.
Yeah. So what went into the decision to shut it down and then crank it back up?
Yeah, so I was just, after last season, I was feeling just really burnt out. I didn't have the season that I had gone in wanting. And then just after 10 plus years of doing the same thing, spinning around in circles for days in, day out, hour after hour. And just, I never really knew who I was, and still don't know who I am. But I was just so consumed with Turner Washington being just Turner Washington, the thrower, that it came to a point I was this is not a healthy relationship. Like the way I see the sport, this isn't a good way, and it's becoming detrimental to my life. So I kind of chose. I was like, you know what, I'm going to be done. And then I think that period of retirement gave me the opportunity to find like, okay, like what is it you like about the sport? What is it you don't like about the sport? And how can you change those like in your own approach? And then come August, we have a new coach come in, Ryan Whiting. And after he takes the job, he reaches out to me and it's kind of like, hey, like, what are your thoughts of coming back? And at this time, you know, I've been on scholarship for 5 years, but I still had one more year of school. And I was like, and I saw how much that really cost. I was like, you know what? Maybe one more year is not too bad. But the mindset I had, I was like, you know, I'm just getting my school paid for. I've done my time. I won championships. I scored a lot of points for this school, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna just play the system. But then with working with Ryan, as each like week went on, I just kind of like, you know, started finding more of that passion with the sport again, and it's like it just started feeling that fire. Some weeks I'd be like, man, do I really have it anymore? But that last throw is kind of like I've been struggling throughout the season of like, do I have that just fire, like that obsession, that care to really compete at that high level? And I think, yeah, Friday night proved that, hey, it's still there, still burning bright.
Well, and mental health, the more college athletes you talk to these days, and more people kind of open up about it, and you're chasing greatness, and it's not easy. It's really hard. The suck factor is high a lot of days. So what's your message to other athletes here? And now that the journey is complete, do you sort of feel like there was, something that was kind of meant to be there to go through that?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's kind of like this year. It was really an opportunity for me to learn more about myself and like overcoming just the challenges that we all have. And yeah, it was that opportunity of growth and finding like a true purpose of like, why do I need to wake up and go to practice? You know, it's like I've already won 4 championships. There's not a whole lot of money in the sport professionally. So it's kind of like, what is the why? And it was just more like at the like kind of a pride thing. It's like, it's just when I get in that competitive environment, I don't want to come second. So it's really just staying true to who I know I am deep down. And then when it comes to dealing with like that mental health aspect for younger athletes, I think it's just really need to be open with people and like your coaches, because your coach is there to help you and help you succeed. And in a way, they're the ones who work for you. You don't work for them. And I think that's something that a lot of athletes need to hear and take like true to heart. Like, this person doesn't have a job if you're not there. You know, like, they work for you too. Because like if you're young, if you're in high school, you don't work well your coach, you get rid of them. You get a new coach. But you get to college and you kind of get stuck with whoever's the hired person there. And then I think there's just like a loss of dialogue between people. But yeah, I think that's just really big thing, is just being open to the people who are around. Like, I want to, like, my strength coach, Marcus, like, he was always that person that was just like there to listen to me. Cause there were a lot of bad days coming out of the circle, just pissed, but he was always there to listen and just help me along.
So is that, am I listening to a future coach talk here? Or are you hanging him up once again? Will we see you like in the summer game somewhere? What's the next plan? Have you kicked your feet up for like 5 minutes?
Yeah, no, I took a couple days off, enjoyed the time, and then now I'm getting back into training, getting ready for USA's, which is in mid-July. And if things go well there, then I'll be heading to Budapest for the World Championships.
Well, it's definitely a cool way to see the world. As you sort of, process this whole experience and go about that business, is there like, how long you think you can compete in this, and is there a future in coaching?
Yeah, no, that's the next thing. It's kind of like right now I'm just weighing like what it is, like what do I want to do, because it's like I'm not a single man that can just go along and do whatever. So it's kind of like also taking, like, I now have where do I want to be 20 years from now? Where do I want my kids to be? Like, what kind of life do I want to have, rather than just, oh, win Olympic gold medal, and the world's great, everything's perfect in it, you know. And I think that's just one thing. Is growing up, you learn to realize that there's so much more to life than the sport. But yeah, definitely would love to coach, and then also looking at going into the WWE, which is like super exciting idea to be able to continue to like compete again with some of the world's greatest athletes and then just put on a show for people.
No way. So do you have like a costume picked out or anything? What's that? Do you have to go to school for that? How's that work?
I don't know who the character is going to be, but you know, I hope to keep the Turn of Time name going, keep that energy throughout everything.
Well, I mean, we if you want like a dry run, we could, put something together here on Arizona's Family, like a, backyard brawl just to kind of get you going there. I got a couple people you can throw down. But
get some practice in it.
Yeah. If you can go off the top rope. But kind of taking that and like sports and competing all over the world. I mean, so you have how many kids?
Oh, I don't have kids.
I thought you said. No. Oh, okay, I thought you said you had some kids right now.
I have a girlfriend. I have a girlfriend.
I was gonna say like the background. That's not the mark of a single dude right there. That looks. I mean, maybe you put that together. You got the rose there.
Yeah, it's been quite the transition from my living situations from single to having to be in a relationship.
Are there any pizza boxes on the floor there?
No. Shoes off when you come in the house. It's strict.
Well, hey, speaking of transitions, I want to circle back to this. Going from Tucson and the U of A to ASU, I mean, very few people have crossed that threshold. So what went into that decision and to see it kind of pay off like it did for you up here?
Yeah, that was really a kind of like just a coaching change. I think that not every coach works for every athlete, and that sometimes as an athlete, you just need something new. And I was seeing them like, hey, they're having a lot of success just an hour and a half away. And that my dad knew Blue because they had thrown together the old throws coach. And it was just kind of seemed like this is the place I need to be. And then when I went on my visit upon deciding that I was transferring, it was just one of those things. I remember walking through the parking garage, and it was just, I was like, I need to be here. This is the space where I need to go. And then I decided that I was going to be going to Arizona State that same day. But at the end of the day, like, I love Tucson. My heart's will always be in Tucson, and I could have done everything that I did up here in Tucson. That would have been really the cherry on top. But yeah, Tucson's home, and it always will be.
What has been the reaction from your Sun Devil, and also your Wildcat friends and family? What was the cell phone like after that throw to win?
Oh, they were super pumped because they know how much goes into it. My mom, she went through it with my dad, family all along the way seeing it, and then just and I think that's this year I was a lot more open to my family members and being kind of talking about, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, this is how I'm feeling. And I think that at the end of the day, that's what keeps a person sane. It's just communication with people that love them. But yeah, it's just congratulations. At this point, I think like by your 6th year, no one cares about the rivalry. It's not that deep, especially in track and field. Like you're like, we're just here to throw things far and have fun. So no, I was getting congratulations from both sides.
All right. So do you have another throw like that in you at the World Championships? Is there more there? Do you feel it in the workouts? Are you chasing anything?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot more to be done. Like the 66-meter throw is a throw that I felt like I could have thrown at the beginning of the year. It was kind of just something. When am I going to hit a decent mark that I consider decent? And I think that now it was that meet gave me the confidence, and I was like, okay, I know how to compete again. Because after that, taking that year off, and then just going through a slump, you forget just the minute details that go into winning big meets and the planning and preparation. And I think just the whole 2 weeks that were leading up to nationals, where I finally started feeling like myself again as a competitor, as a track and field athlete.
Would you recommend the year off to anybody who's been grinding at something for a while to try to Try to find out new things.
It wasn't even a year. It was a summer, because that was the thing. I had up until that point, I hadn't had a summer break since my junior year of high school. So it was take 2 weeks off, get right back on it. So I think that retirement, which was one of the shortest retirements ever, it was like only 4 months, 3 months, but it was that mentally I'm checked out. Mentally I'm done. I don't care if I have to put my shoes on again. Like, I was in my head, I was done. I didn't care what anyone said. I was done. But at the end of the day, it was money that brought me back. I was like, I don't want to pay for this. So yeah, I think, but taking time away from anything, I think when you've been doing it for years, you need to really process, like, do I actually enjoy this, or am I just doing this because I'm good, or because I've done it for a long time?
All right, final question. I know you made your feelings felt about the Arkansas folks, but do you thank them at all for motivating you?
I do. There's a little bit of me that I'm like, you know what? Like, if it wasn't for them, I still would have won, but the celebration and the reaction, it wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah. What did they say? Can you share that here?
Yeah, they were saying, don't slip, nice shorts, your shoelace is untied, and just things like that, like in the middle of my throw. Like, not overly, like, nothing too personal, but it was just, I have a certain respect for what I do and what other athletes do. And it just kind of sent me over the edge a little bit.
Well, it definitely worked out. It's been great talking to you here, and we look forward to watching you continue to go. Where can we see you next? Where can we cheer you on? And when can we get you down here in the studio for the television show?
For sure. I'd love to come down, go home and be on the TV. But July 6th, I'll be in Eugene at the U.S. Championships, competing to make the World Championship team.
Awesome. We'll be watching. We appreciate the time. And thanks for doing us proud here in Arizona, a national champion.
Awesome. Thank you.
The Extra Point Podcast is a production of 3TV, CBS5, and azfamily.com in Phoenix, Arizona.